Their expectation was centered around a future messianic king. Let me take you into the mind of the Jewish people today. They were in the midst of a foreign domination and hope for political liberation. They resented the Roman government that was over them. They didn't like Pontius Pilate. They were looking for a messianic conqueror who would destroy this foreign power. When Jesus shows up claiming to be the Messiah, they got excited when they heard he was coming. But when they saw him riding on a donkey and a colt, they began to scratch their head. Honestly, in their spirit, this did not match what their expectation of a Messiah was. And so now they go back to the drawing board and they say, he hadn't thrown over nothing. He hasn't kicked anybody down. Even if he wanted to, riding on that little donkey, what does he think he's going to do to the Roman Emperor Pontius Pilate? And so they begin to change their attitude toward Jesus. And for the safety and peace of the religious life in Jerusalem, they came to the conclusion that he must be put to death. He's an imposter. If we let him slide, people will be popping up all over the place claiming to be the Messiah. Not only must he be punished, but crucify him in front of all of us. I'm trying to help somebody. They thought they were doing the right thing. Here Jesus is making his triumphant entry into Jerusalem from Capernaum. He takes the long route through the borders of Judea and crosses over beyond the Jordan. He crosses the Jordan. He arrives at Jericho. He spends the night with Zacchaeus. He's 23 miles away from Jerusalem, and he begins to set out towards the temple. When he gets to the highest point on the road, he's almost at the end of the journey, and there atop of the Mount of Olives, the holy city appears. His disciples gather around him and they begin their descent for what has been 33 years in the making. And now here we are on center stage, and I need you to understand that every person, every animal, and every object was a critical role player and a catalyst for what God was about to do. How many of you know that God is not done doing? I think I just said something. He didn't stop on Calvary. He didn't even stop when Jesus went down into the grave. He didn't stop when he got up from the grave. He didn't stop when 500 people saw him walking around in a glorified body. He didn't stop. In Acts 1 and 9, he ascended into the air, and an angel said, "Why are you standing there gazing into the air?" God is not done doing. In the same fashion that he went up, he's coming back. So now not only do we look backwards to the triumphant entry, but we sit here today looking forward to his triumphant re-entry. The question is, when he makes his triumphant re-entry, what will he be looking for? I want to submit to you today that there are three things that Jesus is going to be looking for, and they can all be found right here in the text.